Hey, thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we just had a brand new upgraded risk for Denver, Colorado for hail today. We are now in the level 3 severe weather risk for today. That's the enhanced risk. We'll show that to you guys here in just a few minutes. As I mentioned, all eyes are on Denver, okay? It's a big risk day across central and eastern Colorado as we have big hail, tornadoes, and very strong wind gusts expected from these storms. And really, it's a big hail week. This is not our only day with a level 3 severe weather risk on the board today or in the forecast. And then as we head into the middle of the week, we also have hazardous heat. So if you're not getting storms, you're most likely getting that heat. And we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. So if you're not getting storms, make sure you stick around for the forecast still. We'll talk about how hot it's going to get. Let's talk about what happened over the last 24 hours. Then we'll get into that Denver forecast today. Well, you can see that Oklahoma City, it got some rain yesterday. That was really nice. Did you guys know we had some storms in Dallas too on Saturday evening? 1-inch size hail reported just outside of Dallas in Hutchinson, I think it is. And then we also had just a ton of storms across the northern portion of the U.S. yesterday. Actually, we saw a 4-inch size hailstone up there. 4 inches in size. That's much larger than the size of a baseball. That's massive. Do you think we can do it again today? Could we do it in Denver today? Let's talk about it. Here's the brand new upgrade. So we've got a level 3 risk in 2 different areas, just outside of Denver, just to the east. And let me see if it actually includes Denver. Just to the east of Denver by just a few miles. And so I think the big question for today is going to be, where do those storms form? If they form to the west of I-25, you've got hail in Denver. If they form to the east of I-25, that's why we have that enhanced risk right there. Denver may miss out. So we'll have to see what happens today. By the way, Kansas City also just got upgraded from a level 1 to a level 2 severe weather risk, and just to the west of KC, a level 3 severe weather risk. So that's the new upgrade. Let's talk about Tuesday, because we have a level 3 risk on Tuesday thanks to a low pressure system that's sticking around mainly in the northern plains as we head into the midweek. That level 3 risk for North Dakota, Minnesota, and South Dakota. And then as we head into Wednesday, we shift off to the east and into the Midwest. We have a risk for Chicago, a level 3 risk for Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. And then into Thursday, Chicago right in the bullseye for storms, and St. Louis also could get storms on Thursday. So it's just day after day after day, a very large hail possible, strong wind possible, several tornadoes possible. So let's talk about today first. And as always, let us know where you're watching from. Put your questions and your comments in the chat. Denver for today, we have that wind risk as at a level 2. We could probably upgrade that to level 3 if we really needed to. Everyone else in the level 1, probably getting storms, but nothing is guaranteed. Your tornado forecast, well central to the eastern portion of the state. That's where we're really watching for the greatest likelihood for several tornadoes, so just to the east of Denver. And then we've got another one in northeastern Kansas, including Salina, just outside of Topeka, Kansas for that level 2 tornado risk as well. We have another tornado risk that's just on the northern side of Kentucky and southern side of Illinois. So we've got a lot going on today. Moving on to that significant hail model. Ooh, Denver. Ooh, holy moly, look at that. Tons of orange and red over here. I think it actually gets more red as we head into the afternoon. Now, what does this mean? This is potential hail size. If we say orange, we're usually talking about golf balls. Red means baseballs, and anything in that pink is anything larger than baseballs. And look at that, we've got red that's popping up just to the east of I-25, right north of I-70. Let's overlay it with your reflectivity. So this is your potential future radar. So here's what we're looking at here. We're going to see the first few storms, which is actually already formed. We had a severe thunderstorm warning in southern Nebraska earlier this morning. We're going to continue to see those storms throughout the afternoon. But what we're really watching is for new development just west of I-25. Again, where all of this forms, that'll be the very, very big question. Is it west of I-25 and Denver gets hit? Or is it to the east of I-25 and Denver just barely misses out? We'll have to see. But by 5 o'clock tonight, we'll know the answer to that question as these storms continue to shift to the east. As they track to the east, they'll intensify, especially in northeastern Colorado. That is the biggest risk for tornadoes, wind, and hail, an all hazards event here. We also have that long line of storms that could produce several tornadoes anywhere from the northern portion of Emporia to just to the, northern portion of Salina to the northern portion of Topeka here. That'll be into the late evening hours tonight. That's going to be more of a wind event than it is a hail event. And that goes into Kansas City as we head into the overnight hours and into early tomorrow morning. Maximum hail size here, baseball size hail. We can show you that hail forecast. We really have Denver and just to the east of Denver highlighted for the largest hail today. We can go up to the north first. Sioux Falls for today, we've got a level 2 severe weather risk for up to golf ball size hail. We have a little dry line down in Texas. We haven't talked about this yet. Few storms possible down here. This could produce a little bit of hail as well in places like Woodward. But of course, the main show for today will be in eastern Colorado. Moving on here, let's talk about Denver for your timeline. I gave you a little bit of a timeline earlier, but I really think it'll be between 2 and 7 o'clock this evening. Maybe even closer to 3 to 6 o'clock if I really had to narrow it down. We've got storms, as I mentioned, forming just to the west of you guys, but really intensifying as these storms continue throughout the afternoon and evening hours heading to the east. A later timeline that we could put on the board here would be closer to 5 to 10 o'clock tonight. That's when we're going to see the strongest storms. That'll be in eastern Colorado. Your chance for 1-inch size hail, I have that in that level 2 category. Pretty good chance for some hail in Denver in some capacity. What about large hail, 2.75? So we're talking about baseball size or larger. You guys are in the chance for it today. Absolutely. I have a low chance on the board for baseball size hail. And again, the biggest question here is where is this going to form? Where do we see storms form? Is it to the west or to the east of I-25? Other places that we haven't talked about quite yet are storms in southern Nebraska. These will be the problems for northern Kansas later on today. You've got a line of storms here, okay? So this long cluster of storms, that's going to be mainly a wind and a tornado threat. We can't rule out some large hail. Actually, I want to read to you what the Storm Prediction Center said about the hail risk for Denver today. They actually upgraded this, and I want to read to you what they said. They have some of the latest model forecast soundings suggest giant hail 3 to 4.5 inches in diameter into the early evening hours. So they're talking about intense supercells over eastern Colorado late this afternoon. Severe wind gusts will also be possible with the stronger storms with this activity diminishing into the late evening. So that's in far eastern Colorado. But their tone changes whenever they talk about Kansas City, because with Kansas City, what they're talking about here is the low-level jet starting to really kick in as the sun goes down. It's 9 o'clock. It's dark at this point. And what happens is that low-level jet is a strong, basically like a pocket of very strong wind that takes these storms and kind of acts like a sailboat. And it pushes them, that wind hits the sail, and it pushes them into Kansas City. And with that, the biggest concern is going to be strong wind gusts, potentially capable of a swath of 60 to 80 miles an hour, with locally peaking 80 to 100 miles an hour. So at times, this system right here could produce 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So you've got your hail and tornado risk over here, 5 to 10 o'clock tonight for eastern Colorado. And then you've got your wind and tornado risk right along into the north of I-70 into the late night hours. We're talking about maybe 7 to 1 a.m. Probably actually later than 1. But after this storm crosses the state line from Kansas into Missouri, it starts to fall apart. So lots to talk about today. Hey, by the way, we also have a flood risk for today as well. A lot of people have gotten several inches of rain over the last 24 hours. We're going to see more rain in this area. We have a level 2 flood risk, which means scattered flash flooding possible not only for today, also tomorrow, and on Wednesday, and on Thursday. And all of this thanks to a low pressure system, or rather 2 low pressure systems. We've got your trough right here. That's going to bring your lift for severe weather. We've got a low pressure system in Edmonton, Canada. We've got another low pressure system off the coast. And these two systems are going to keep our weather very, very active over the next few days. So we've talked about today. Let's talk about tomorrow. We have another level 3 risk for some large hail tomorrow, tennis ball to maybe baseball, softball size hail, all possible for tomorrow. This will mostly be in North Dakota, South Dakota, and portions of Nebraska. Again, for your maximum hail size for tomorrow, I have up to baseball size hail. That could probably get upgraded. Some strong wind also possible here along the eastern side of North Dakota and northern side of Kansas once again, southern side of Nebraska. As we head into Wednesday, especially later in the day on Wednesday, we have another round of storms, and that'll be for the Midwest. Oh, by the way, there's a pretty decent tornado risk tomorrow as well from Minot to Bismarck. I know I didn't mention that earlier, but I do want to move on to Wednesday. So let's talk about, here's your hail forecast for Tuesday, 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night in Omaha. Some small hail is possible. Which brings us right into Wednesday. So that's a late night system that's going to continue into the morning. Wednesday, we move off to the Midwest where we barely skim Chicago for that severe weather risk. But really our biggest severe weather concern on Wednesday is going to be in Minneapolis and in La Crosse. So right on the eastern side of Minnesota and western side of Wisconsin. Let's take a look at your wind risk here. Level 2 for those same places that I mentioned. But some of these storms could go as far south as Wichita and Kansas City. And then we have a pretty significant tornado risk as well. So to recap, we talked about a lot of information today, right? We talked about that hail and tornado risk in eastern Colorado. We talked about the wind and tornado risk in northern Kansas. And then we could see a few storms up into Minnesota and a few storms from that dry line down across Texas and western Oklahoma. For Tuesday, we shift up to the north into North Dakota and South Dakota. And on Wednesday, we head out to the Midwest. By Thursday, we are staying in the Midwest as St. Louis and Chicago are both in the severe weather risk. So that is your storm forecast. Do we have any last minute questions? I know that was a lot of information. John says we're good right now. Thank you, John, for producing today. We appreciate it. Now we're warming up out there, okay? It's pretty warm already. Temperatures are above average for this time of the year. We're staying in that red for a few days at least, I think until Wednesday. We've got 90s, 100, a triple digit on the board there as well. It's hot out there. It feels hot out there. And for your heat safety and just how hot it could get on roofs today, let's head over to meteorologist Martin Lauermore.
Oh yeah, I have found a lot of interesting things about roofs over the past couple of hours. Been doing a lot of that research, and let me tell you what, it can get hot. Now I know a lot of you guys already know this, but the actual degree heat that we usually see on these roofs can get immense, like nowhere near what we have ever seen on planet Earth before. Talking about a cool roof, this is one of those metal roofs that those are mostly, painted white, maybe light gray, still 110 degrees on a 90-degree day. We look at an unpainted metal roof, not seeing any of that paint on it, 135 to about 150 degrees. Concrete, clay roof, I know those are a little bit more rare compared to metal or shingles, but that concrete roof can get even warmer, upwards to 130 to 150. The shingles, I know it's the most popular around here, but across the nation really, but those are honestly the worst. 90-degree day, again, this is direct sunlight, 90-degree day, 170 to upwards to 190 degrees. We are talking nearing the point where water boils. So think about that when you're making like coffee or you're making like tea. That's about how hot some of those roofs can get. So again, it's going to be very hot for a lot of us. Overlaid right here, we're seeing a lot of these temperatures reaching upwards to 80, 90. That risk in the orange is low, red a little bit higher, and then that pink is that extreme there. You can see these temperatures, 95 degrees today in Oklahoma City, 97 in Dallas. Midland, as Taylor was saying, triple-digit heat is very likely. It could get very hot in some of those roofs, even upwards to like Chicago, 86 degrees. I'm pointing out specific cities here that have seen that 5-star hail maps already. Dallas, Oklahoma City, Chicago, Kansas City, all these areas. I know a lot of roofs need to get replaced in a lot of these cities. But the thing is that heat is going to be very intense out there. So let's look at a handful of city-specific forecasts. So this is for Kansas City. Temperatures expected to be 85 degrees for your high today. Feels like temperature 93. So that humidity humidity will make it a little bit worse. Small chance for rain. Don't think we'll be seeing any of that rain though. Winds not going to be giving you much of a break when that heat index really kicks in. 8 miles an hour might be enough to kind of almost offset the feels like temperature, but still 85 degrees. If you're on a shingle roof, it's going to get hot fast. Move a little further south down to Dallas, Fort Worth. 93 is the temperature today. Feels like temperature 103. Granted, you're going to have a little bit more wind out there. We got a good little wind gust kind of making its way across Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and that's helping things out a little bit in terms of that feels like temperature. A little bit of wind does go a long way, but 93 degrees? No. If you are going to be out on those roofs today, I know a lot of you still got to get work done. Just take those frequent breaks and wear light colored clothing. I like what I'm wearing. This is actually perfect. Maybe a little bit loose as well. Maybe not a button-up shirt while you're, doing a roof replacement, but light colored clothing, loose fitting so it doesn't stick to you all that much. Getting obviously frequent water breaks, that is a good thing for that if you are going to be out in a lot of these roof replacement jobs you got going on for today, and it's going to continue through the rest of the week. We're not seeing any break when it comes to that heat. I'm actually going to go back real quick and show you again, next several days, we're still seeing these 80s and 90s and even triple digits reeling their way back in on Tuesday, Wednesday, even into our Thursday. We're going to continue to see this heat really building in across the nation. I mean, Minneapolis, 98 degrees. I don't think Minneapolis specifically had a 5-star this year so far, but we've seen a lot of hail in southern Minnesota. It's kind of been the story across parts of the Great Lakes. I've been seeing a lot of those. 98 in Chicago. Man, it's just going to be hot over the next couple of days. So make sure you guys stay extra safe if you are going to be out doing roof replacements the next couple of days. It's going to be hot. Again, light, loose-fitting clothing and taking those frequent water breaks and just getting back into shade and getting into some cool. That'll help you throughout the entire day and avoid that heat stroke and that heat exhaustion. So stay safe the rest of the week if you've got those roof replacements going on.
And yeah, hopefully you are out and taking your heat safety precautions. Here's the good news. If you don't like this heat, we are cooling down a little bit. Look into the middle of June. This is June 13th through 17th. Most of us are going to see cooler temperatures than what we normally see this time of the year. Most of us will see temperatures that are just a little bit chilly for June. And we like to see that. I like to see the really, really warm temperatures, but I like to see the change in weather as well, getting back down into some of those cooler temps. Well, extended rain outlook also looks like we're staying pretty active in terms of wet weather. We've seen a lot of rain across this area over the last few days, causing that flooding issue that will continue through the rest of this week. And we've got rain that continues, or at least above average rainfall totals as we head into the middle of June, which we definitely need this time of the year. And there's your forecast. Okay, it's going to be a very, very busy weather day from Colorado to Kansas, Nebraska, tomorrow, North and South Dakota, and Minnesota. The next day, we go out to the Midwest, and that's where we stay for Thursday as well. We have a lot to talk about in terms of severe weather. We will go live once again if Denver, Oklahoma, I think Amarillo will be watching for that dry line to fire today. Wichita, Kansas City, all of those areas. If we see storms, we'll make sure that you know about them. So follow us on all forms of social media. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, or give us a call at 855-334-4245 for a hail, wind, or tornado map. This is the perfect time to get trained on the Hail Trace app. Do it now before those storms hit, because by the time the storm hits, you want to be ready. You want to be trained. You want to be able to deploy. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or head over to our website, hailtrace.com, for more information. Thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. We'll see you back here soon for live weather coverage.